One area that most of us overlook is what is outside of our home or business. The landscaping we've spent thousands of dollars on looking nice can be wiped away in moments should a hurricane approach. We took time to go to Mounts Botanical Gardens. They're experts at perfecting landscapes to find out if you do get destroyed from the storms, what you should plant next that won't get destroyed next time. Well, you have your home prepared and your office prepared, but what happens if Mother Nature strikes your garden, your landscape, and leaves it devastated? Well, joining me now is Alan Sistrunk, the director of Mounts Botanical Garden. Welcome.
Thank you, Tony.
And you know firsthand what
Absolutely.
Mother Nature can bring to these beautiful gardens during Wilma.
Absolutely. Well, Tony, like most of the people that live in this county, the 3 hurricanes certainly caught us off guard, to say the least. And we really didn't have any answers immediately because we didn't know what style or what type of garden would take these hurricanes. And these hurricanes basically, I'm sorry if anyone disagrees with me, were mild ones.
I agree.
We didn't get an Andrew.
We got a 2.
We got a 2.
In
right.
hindsight, a 2.
Right, but here at Mounts Botanical Garden, we lost 70% of our shade canopy.
Wow.
So what we went from was a shady garden to a full sun garden. And that's a whole new set of issues than trying to come up with a type of garden that one can get through a hurricane with.
Right.
But the word that we're using is a hurricane resilient garden.
Hurricane resilient garden. I want people at home, they should really be using that word even if they're considering some replanting, even not withstanding a hurricane, right?
Absolutely. It's just unconscionable not to consider the word resilient in the type of garden that you're going to spend thousands of dollars and put a lot of your time and effort into if it's not going to be at least resilient.
And tell me, because this is behind us, that's
Right,
what we're talking about.
right.
Talk about some of the plants. Are they common to Florida? Are they expensive? Can you find them at your local, favorite garden shop?
Tony, they're right here in our backyard, and they've been here all along, but we just didn't know how to and when to. Now is the time to. And what we're doing is a heavy ground layer, a lot of succulents, a lot of bromeliads, a lot of ferns, a lot of low, short palm trees. And these type plants, basically with a low center of gravity, the winds will blow right across them. So it's just effectively simple. Just plant a heavy ground layer, lots of shrubs, and most of these plants are also drought tolerant. So there's such a timely garden for South Florida with the water crisis that we're facing and the potential of more hurricanes. These low center of gravity plants are also drought tolerant, like the bromeliads and the succulents, like the dwarf sansevierias, the dwarf mother-in-law tongues. These are all hurricane resilient and drought tolerant. So it's a win-win situation on both fronts.
So, but the key is, are they pretty? I mean, all of us want our lawns to look spectacular when our neighbors come by, when our friends visit. So to you, are they as pretty as, say, the more fragile flowers, the impatiens, the ones we love to plant?
They're prettier, and they're more cost-effective too because you're not planting them each season. You have to plant something for the cool season, something for the warm season. And these bromeliads and begonias and ground covers are beautiful year-round. I remember the first time I went into a garden like this, I said, well, when does this peak? And the gentleman I was visiting said, year-round. And this was before the hurricanes, and now we have a garden like that here at Mounts Botanical Garden for people to come and see that you can have a hurricane resilient garden that's beautiful year-round.
Well, thank you. Great tips. And let me just put a plug in. Hurricane or not, you should come visit these beautiful gardens. They're open all year round. Thank you so much.
Sure, Tony. Thank you.
Well, if you'd like more tips, again, you can log on to our website. It's wxel.org. Well, our next guest has some unique stress-free ways to survive a hurricane. Welcome, Marty Moore, who is a licensed masseuse therapist, and says, and I like this concept, that you don't think about the level of stress in your home when you're all boarded up, you're run into a closet. And there's easy ways to kind of diffuse some of that using some techniques that masseuses use every day.
Absolutely. I think one of the things first is to not spend too much time in any one position as far as sitting on the couch. I mean, we get into that, you know, while we still have electricity, we just sit and watch the TV
and
for
we're
hours
glued
and
to that
hours.
coverage, and
Right.
it's usually the same thing over
Right.
and over.
And that's so important, absolutely, to stay in touch with what's going on. But also, our bodies are meant to have movement. And so we need to get up, do some things. You know, while you have electricity, play some Wii or something like that if you've got kids. There's lots of other things that you can, you know, be doing. Lots of suggestions, even after the electricity goes out, is create your own game of American Idol at home.
Oh, that's a cute idea. And you said Twister before.
Twister
I
is
love that.
another-
That's a
right.
great old game. Your kids probably have never played it because they're busy playing Wii. And so get the Twister game out, the whole family, and it's a fun way to, and it gets their mind off. I like the idea that not only is your body in motion, but the tenseness, I think, comes from just watching and waiting and watching and waiting and expecting something new to happen, and it takes hours before you get anything new.
Absolutely, and so one of that is playing those games also is what I call happy oxygen, because you're getting up and you're deep breathing and doing those sorts of things. The singing, blowing bubbles, have a blowing
good
bubble
idea.
contest. That's a great thing. It sounds silly, like for little kids, but it really makes you like get up and do something different. So that's a lot of fun.
And even if you're not lucky enough to have a masseuse in the home with you, you say that you can show us a few techniques where we can kind of give our family members, especially the elderly that are especially fragile,
Right.
you know, some stress relieving massages pretty easily.
Right, absolutely. There's some really great things that you can do, and I could demonstrate some of those.
Our
Right.
crew member
Excellent.
Thomas is going to be our little model for this.
All right. So, and this is, you know, not just elderly. We forget about that. We have kids that get really stressed, and kids aren't going to tell us sometimes about that. And I think one of the things, this position, so that you're turning sideways, you've got their shoulders where you can get them, because this is where we tend to carry it.
Right.
And so instead of, you know, a good squeeze is good, but instead of spending all the time squeezing, you're just going to push a little bit on those muscles. You're not going to poke really hard like with your thumbs.
Right.
You're going to use the back of your hands here a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And do something like that. And that way, the person giving the massage can, you know, last a lot longer, because a lot of times your hands get really tired. So, you know, you slip your hands under the shoulders and push up a little bit. We're getting a little
And you
smile
can't really
there.
hurt anyone
Right.
if you just do these gentle moves,
Right,
right?
right. You're not going to hurt anybody. So this is all really gentle. This is a really great one. We have all these acupressure points on your ears. This is something that you can do to yourself.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to try that.
A couple of deep
Just
breathing.
massage your ears?
Just massage your ears. Has all these acupressure points. We forget about all these muscles in our head.
Oh, yeah.
We have all this muscle that goes across here. This is such a simple way to relieve a lot of tension. Across your face, all these muscles in here. We forget how much we use these muscles. And when you're really tense, it's sometimes, you know, some of these headaches that we get, that we think it's, gosh, I'm getting a headache and it's squeezing my temples.
Right.
That's the muscle that's really tight in there.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I could get a massage and watch you all day, but we do have a time. Again, just simple techniques that can really change that feeling in your home from one of total stress to just a little bit of relaxation. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you.
Great ideas.
Thanks.
News partners WXCL, the Sun Sentinel, and WPTV remind you that when a hurricane threatens, continuous information is available online at sunsentinel.com/hurricane.